toxic positivity and how it's destroying you and your business. Hey, I'm Donnie Bovian, CEO and founder of Success Champion Networking and author of the new book, Fuck to Focus. This is Growth Mode, a podcast all about growing and scaling your business. Hanging out with me, as always, my buddy Kevin Snow, the sales and automation tactician and genius. And in this episode, we're going to have some fun talking about toxic positivity and all the things it's doing to screw up even how I do the intro of this show. So, all right, Kevin, I got the story on this one, and I'm not changing that intro because that just was funny to me. So, but, growing up, I was the self-help kid from about age of 22 on. I mean, my dad handed me my first book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. Actually, that's not true. He handed me Success Through Positive Mental Attitude by Napoleon Hill. And that was a book that, changed his life and got us to move from Kansas to Texas. And it really got him moving in a better direction in life. I mean, up until that point, he'd been a truck driver and he really hadn't done a whole lot for his life, but he found success through a positive mental attitude. And that book pushed him further. I can honestly say that book wasn't a great hit for me, but Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill really hit hard for me and really got me into this world of self-help, being positive, affirmations, and I really bought into the idea of you could Mary Poppins your way to success, meaning you could think fucking happy thoughts and, you'd fly up to the ceiling, life would be good. And if you thought sad thoughts, you'd come down off the fucking ceiling of the house and you'd have to go home. And what I continue to learn, you liked my Mary Poppins reference, didn't you?
All I want for the episode cover for this is you with an umbrella floating through the sky.
We could try and make that happen, right? We could try and make that. But it's real, man. I mean, I really thought that I could just tell myself I'm a badass, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, and success would magically fucking pop out of thin air and I'd sail off to the promised land because that's how it was being taught. This whole idea of neuro-linguistic programming, which is a real science, right? That's a real thing. Neuro-linguistic programming is a real thing. We've just bastardized what it actually means and apply it into our lives. Now, I'm going to have fun with this episode because I know how much you love this self-help shit and how much it drives you fucking bonkers. So I'm going to kick it over to you and go, all right, how do we talk about toxic positivity and tell people to fucking stop it?
So it's like the Saturday Night Live skit of, was it Stuart Little? Standing in...
Stuart Smalley.
Smiley.
Yeah.
Except Stuart someone. But standing
Fucking
in front of we're now going to Google it and find out. But it's a whole idea of standing in front of the mirror and saying I'm good. People like me.
Gosh darn it, people like me.
Gosh darn it, people like me.
Yeah.
It isn't that you need to have some. There needs to be some substance behind it. You can't just say the words. You actually have to figure out why you like yourself and understand why people actually do like you, and be able to accentuate that and talk about those things, not just put out in the world, people like me. It's going to be great today. No, what are you going to do to make it great today? What are the actions you're going to take that are going to make you have a great day? Or what are the actions you're going to take that's going to cause someone to say, oh my God, Donnie's a cool son of a bitch? What are the things that you're going to do? You can't just put it out in the world and think things are going to happen.
Yeah.
So people say it all the time. This will be my last thing that I'll let you go. People, I put it out in the universe, so it's going to happen. But no, that's not how any of this works. You don't just put ideas out in the universe and, oh, look, they're suddenly here and the universe provided for me. No, that's not it.
Well, and I think that's important that we define that, we're not saying don't be positive. Because if you're a fucking Eeyore negative fucking just jackass, you're going to lose. Because if this, the whole Chicken Little idea, the sky is always falling. If everything is negative, everything is shit, and you look at life through that whole glass of I'm just going to continue to be dealt the shit sandwich, you're going to make sure that happens. But the flip side of it is, and that's because, let me explain it, because that's because misery loves fucking company, right? When you're miserable, you look for ways to keep yourself fucking miserable, right? That's just the whole idea behind misery stacking, okay? The opposite of that, though, is just because you say you're happy, you're positive, you're whatever, does not also ring true, right? It does not. The opposite of misery stacking isn't fucking positivity stacking, right? It's not a thing. What you have to do is be very mindful of what you're fucking saying at a given time and making sure you're correcting the misery loves company fucking statements. Like, if you constantly say this is gonna suck, like, we'll talk about cold calling. If you literally say cold calling is going to suck, I hate this, I'm no good at this, and it's horrible, you're going to pick up the phone and fucking blow the whole thing. And it's going to be a fucking ridiculously dumb experience. And you're going to look like an asshat. And it's because you are subconsciously beating the shit out of yourself, which only allows you to perform at the level that you personally see yourself, right? So it's not about saying, "Oh, I'm going to be the best cold caller in the world." It's understanding that you're not great at it, but you know that if you fucking show up and don't mentally beat the shit out of yourselves, you got a shot of actually making this shit work.
I think we're we're positive people. We put out the right vibes to our members and our mastermind members about, hey, this is going to work. This is what's going to happen. But I think it really comes for us. The reason we can be really positive about the outcome and that we're doing the right thing is because we actually have a plan. We actually know what our actions are going to be, so we can be positive that we're going to get results. We're not just hoping. Hopium is not a tactic.
So now we've
But
used Mary Poppins, Eeyore, and Hopium all in
and
the same
hopium,
episode.
yes. So, but that's the thing. Is a lot of salespeople have the whole hopium thing. They hope stuff shows up. And business owners do it too. And both of us did it. And we started our respective companies. We, build it and they will come. I'm going to throw in as many little funky sayings as possible for the rest of the show. But that is that's false positivity. That's the faking it till you make it concept. And we tell NCOs this in the military when we're out at an exercise and it just literally sucks. You're at NTC. We tell our NCOs to fake it and act positive and put on that positive front because it impacts the soldiers. If you are the business owner, you have to be able to make it look like you're positive in front of your employees. Otherwise, your employees are going to get freaking down in the dumps. Now everything's just going to start tanking. But you also have to go back and say, all right, so here's the front I'm putting forward. How do I make that reality? How do I actually cause this hope and this positive attitude that I'm rejecting to be the real thing? How do I turn that corner? What do I need to do? And you got to have that plan in action. And it's, that's why we can act like we do all the time. It's like, we're going to do this. We're going to sell out the Badass Business Summit. We're going to fly in, 20 speakers to Fort Worth. We're going to do this. We're going to do that because we've actually put together a plan that's going to get us there. It's not just, ooh, we rented out a whole hotel. God, I hope people show up.
Right. The fake it till you make it is such a fine edged sword for me. So, and I like how you positioned it, especially in a troop setting, because being in the military, we've all done the fucking hurry up and wait shit, right? Where you're, you know, uh, 2 hours early to a fucking, general meeting, or where you're sitting in the field and everything sucks.
40
And
degrees and it's raining.
right,
It's
right. You
awesome.
know, fucking, so we've all been there, and everybody knows that everybody's miserable. So the fake it in the moment for me is more about figuring out how to make it less miserable, more so than the fake it side of things. But I get the understanding of, you can't tell an NCO when it's completely fucking miserable to just find the good in it. Fucking fake that shit until it becomes it. The opposite of that is, if you're, trying to go someplace in life, you can't fake it till you make it in life. The difference being, you can't just fake being happy because you start lying to yourself. You can't fake that you're successful because you're lying to yourself. And as soon as you start lying to yourself, you start playing this mental game of, I'm not good enough, or why would people listen to me? Because all the comparison things come into play because you're not actually there yet. So for me, it's the idea of going through the activity to actually learn how to embrace and do it. Like, I'm fascinated with this whole idea right now of really learning to enjoy the journey. Building a business is a fucking bitch. And, the over the top positive people are going to look at me like, oh my God, you keep saying that building a business is a bitch and you're going to prove it. No, no, no. It's a bitch. It's a fact. Right. But it's about knowing that and still doing it anyways, and pushing through that. There are functions and things inside of building a business I actually enjoy doing, and learning to do the things I don't, so I can continue to do the things that I really want to do. And I just, you get around all these fucking self-help gurus and everything else, and they're like, think happy thoughts. Fuck off. Right? It is okay to be miserable. Fucking Kevin and I have built businesses off of moments of me being fucking pissed off. Like, Facebook says I can't do this. Fuck you. I'll start my own company and we'll figure it the fuck out. And rage can be used as a powerful force and tool. And if what was the fucking Disney movie with all the fucking characters that were different emotions? Um,
Oh, that cartoon where they were inside the
yep,
girl's head.
yep, yep. And if we didn't learn shit from that fucking movie, where sadness is actually a healthy, good fucking thing, like, all her emotions were trying to keep her happy go lucky, and all it did is made her fucking dark, depressed, and fucking end up looking like a goth kid. Or what do they call them? They don't call them goth kids anymore. They call them fucking oh shit, I'm gonna have to Google a couple things now to find fucking words. But man, you can't be happy all the fucking time. It's actually not healthy. You need to do the full fucking emotional spectrum.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't want to take us into a really dark place, but that whole concept of, always having the positive front and always, never letting anyone know that you're frustrated or struggling causes so many issues,
Yeah,
especially in our veteran community where we're all expected to be this, hard ass, can take care of anything, we don't need help type lifestyle. It's okay to be negative and frustrated and voice it. And you got to have the people in your life that you can show your true emotions to. Donnie and I have had multiple calls where one of us is pissed off at the world and the other one is going to be the punching bag for that call as they get through their, what they're feeling. But you have to have that. If you just bottle it up inside, it's going to be really harmful and detrimental to you.
for sure.
And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the
Oh,
movie's Inside Out, because I had to go fucking
uh,
Google it. And if you don't let your fucking emotions out, it'll turn you emo. That was the word I was looking for. Which, when we were growing up, were the goth kids. Yeah.
I didn't know that Though I thought those were like two separate groups, but
No, I think they're the same fucking thing. Fuck, I don't know. I can't keep up with shit anymore.
we
But
didn't have either in my high school. So
dude, you had 3 people in your entire fucking high school, so
we had more than that. There were 80.
80 in 4 grades. Um, but the whole idea is, one, you have to have an outlet. The entrepreneurs are the worst about putting themselves on a fucking island. You know, they don't want people to know how shitty it is. They don't want the world to know how bad it is. I mean, that's why, I try and put out the bad shit as much as possible so people understand that they're not fucking going through stupid shit on their own. That there are shit that sucks about building a business.
Entrepreneurs do one of two things. They either never put out the bad stuff and it's always, roses and unicorns and rainbows like in Donnie's world, or they're the exact opposite and they're telling everyone how much it sucks and they're telling all the wrong people how much it sucks and all their frustrations. And now they have people who are just feeding into that and making it even worse because they're giving them all the great advice like, oh, why don't you get a normal job?
Right.
And I don't
Right.
understand how you could ever do that. I could never, just live paycheck to paycheck and start my own business and not know what was going to come in. And that just feeds the anxiety and the negative feelings.
For
So
sure.
you got to find the right people. You got to have your team that you can share those to. And then for everyone else, you still share that, yeah, it's awesome. Here's we just did this great thing. And you share the good stuff.
Well, and that's what I love about Champions Table, is, you don't get an option of putting yourself on an island when you got to meet every 2 weeks with a group of other business owners and talk about, what actions did you take to grow and build your business? How are you held accountable? And, there's been times when people have fucking full on cried sitting in one of our Champions Tables meetings, and it's literally because they need to fucking let out all the anxiety and shit that's in their fucking head, and then we fucking tell them to wipe their nose, fucking suck it up, and let's go next round. And but it's even in a world where you're never supposed to cry as a fucking dude. Fuck all that stupid shit, man. Fucking, I love a good goddamn chick flick where I can sit with my wife and fucking cry at the good scenes. I mean, fuck, I cried in goddamn Top Gun, the new one. If you haven't seen it, it's a fucking badass movie, right? But we're in such a weird moment in this world where half the world is saying be positive, the other half of the world is saying be tough. And here's the thing, fuck it all and be yourself, right? Quit worrying about, how other people see you. And I'm gonna fucking say this until I'm blue in the face. If you can't like the motherfucker who's looking back at you in the mirror, nothing else fucking matters. And if you can't figure out why you don't like that person, go see somebody like fucking Mandy Morris. Go see somebody that is a clinical psychologist, can help you unfuck your shit going on between your ears, man. Because the idea of trying to always be positive, put a positive spin on it, hoard everything up until you fucking explode is going to continue to kick the shit out of you. And, you know, life is an evolution. It's about going through it. It's about evolving as an individual. And I truly believe that if you don't get to work on yourself, not in this toxic, you got to be positive all the time way, but if you don't get to work on yourself and liking the person that looks back at you in the fucking mirror, you're not going to evolve. You're going to stay the same miserable freaking C word that you were freaking. I think that's the one word I can't say.
No,
I can just
not
hear my wife fucking slapping the shit out of me.
we're
Um,
not it. We're not in the UK. You cannot use that
right?
word.
But it's it's like the guys that come and tell you they've got 20-25 years of sales. They don't. They got year one repeated 25 fucking times. And it's truly because they've never done the work on themselves. They've gone through the fucking motions, and life has a habit of continuing to show up the same way when you're fucking around, not actually doing the things, putting in the work, always looking for the fucking shortcuts. You got to get to work on your fucking self so you can actually start moving forward. And I promise, if life is a on repeat for you, like it constantly fucking shows up and we're like, here we go again, I'm broke again, I'm still living fucking paycheck to paycheck, ah fuck, my account just got overdrawn again, and all that stupid shit, it's because you haven't done the work working on you. And it's not about fucking thinking the Mary Poppins happy thoughts, it's about fucking evolving, doing the things that allow you to fuck up, learn from, and move the fuck forward. And you got to do those things, or you're going to be on repeat for the next 20 fucking years. You know, so for me, guys, for all of this is get to work on you. Quit thinking happy thoughts, because when I say happy thoughts, quit looking for that silver bullet win. Like, if you tell yourself, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, money comes to me, money flows to me, all that stupid shit over and over again, you're gonna be miserable as fuck. So instead, do the work, put in the time, celebrate the small fucking wins that happen to you, and fucking like the person who looks back at you in the fucking mirror. And you do that, and you'll start stacking the good things, and you will start learning, and you will start evolving. And when that evolution starts kicking in, life is more fun as a whole. And you will really enjoy how you show up in the world and like how you show up in the world. So, as always, guys, if you got any tips, tricks, anything out of this that helped you move forward, please do us a favor and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Share this out with one person who might get value from this. And as always, guys, love you, mean it. See you, bye.